So today I would like to speak to you about another aspect of your design. So I'd like to just call your spirit forward and speak to you about how you are made in God's image. How when God created you, He put some of His design in you. And one aspect of that design is that He created you for intimacy. In a previous blessing, I spoke about love. And I defined love as when you look at someone and you desire what is best for that person. You desire good for that person. True good for that person. And when that desire for good is based on the fact that you value them, you see them as precious, and that desire for good is not based upon any gain you think you will get from that person. It's not based upon looking to receive something from that person. Just that you desire what's good for someone because you value them. So that is love. That is how God loves you. Now, what is intimacy? Intimacy is when you look at someone and you value them and you love them, as I've just described love, in that way. And you also then have a great desire to have a life-giving exchange with that person. You would like to give to them and to receive from them a life-giving exchange. You see them as valuable, and you also know that you are valuable. And so you would like to have a mutual exchange. Part of that is based on the fact that you know in the deepest part of who you are, as part of who God made you, you know that God made you unique and that God made them unique. That you are valuable and that they are valuable. That both of you are precious. But you also know that they have something in their design that you do not have. And you have something in your design that they do not have. And so you know that an exchange with them can be life-giving. And you would like to draw close and have that life-giving exchange. That is a desire for intimacy. Intimacy occurs when two people voluntarily draw close and there is an exchange, a life-giving exchange. So right now I would like to ask God to minister healing to those who have had that aspect of their design for intimacy, have had that part of them damaged by those who pervert God's design for intimacy. When we take our desire, when we look at someone and we value them and we desire that closeness, when it becomes a desire not for a mutually life-giving exchange, but a desire to take from someone else with no intention of giving them anything, that is not right. That is not your design. Another violation of God's design is when an intimate situation, or what I call intimacy, an intimacy can be any type of connection we have with someone else. anytime there's a life-giving, there is an exchange. We could call it intimacy. But God designed it to always be mutually life-giving. And when it becomes something where one person forces another person, contrary to their will, into that kind of situation, that is a violation of God's design. That is not what God made intimacy to be. And for those who have experienced this, Lord, I ask that you would minister healing, that you would lift the pain and the trauma of this off, and that you would restore the design, your original design for intimacy. You would rebuild that design the way you created it to be, and that you would bring healing and restoration to the damage that was done when people experienced a perversion of your design. You are a God who does not force. In your design and who you are, you do not force us into intimacy. It is something that only happens between you and us when we voluntarily allow it, when we give you permission. And you are a God who is always life-giving. You do not take without giving. So, Lord, I ask that you would heal every place in our heart where we experienced a violation of your design for intimacy, or where we violated it ourselves in some way. And ask that you would bring healing and restore the structure of our design according to your design for intimacy, and that you would allow each person listening here to experience true intimacy according to your design. And also to be able to say no to intimacy that is not right, that is not in accordance with your design. It is only when we have a no, when we can say no to intimacy, that we can actually also say yes. So, Lord, for those who have been told they can't say no, that's not right to say no, I ask that you would heal them from that. Because you tell us, you give us permission, you give us freedom and space to say no even to you. And because you know the fact that no intimacy is true intimacy if it is forced. And it is only when we can say no, when we have total freedom to say no, that then we can also say yes. Because that is a very important component of your design for true intimacy, that we can say yes to it as well as no. So I just want to bless everyone listening here, everyone who hears this, with being able to connect with God, to know more about their own design and God, and how God designed them for intimacy, what true intimacy is, what it isn't, and how to walk in your design in this area.